Hi, I'm Lisa. Do you know the meanings of the English verbs to flounder or to court someone? These are words used in a recent Los Angeles Times newspaper article about the CEO of YouTube. How about the expressions to wear many hats, or if someone says it's a tough landscape? Do you know what these expressions mean? I will teach you many other words and expressions that are in this article. One way to know that you have reached true fluency in English is when you're able to understand the vocabulary in newspaper articles. The goal is to not only understand the advanced words, but to be able to use them yourself when you're speaking English and when you're writing. This is why I will give you additional sentences after I teach the meaning of the words so that you can practice using them in different contexts. And then at the end, I will show you a list of the words that you learned so that you can test yourself to see if you remember the meaning. Also, while we're reading the article, I will give you a chance to repeat after me. I will pause and you repeat. That way you can practice your American accent at the same time. We have a lot to learn in this video. Let's get started. The article was published on February 16th, 2023. Let's look at the headline of the article. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki stepped down during a tough moment for tech. To step down means to resign or to quit from an important position, to leave your job, and usually it's an important job, and you leave either because you want to or you think you should. For example, when a president of a company or a CEO or a government official decides to leave his job, we say he stepped down or she's stepping down from the position. We can say the CEO stepped down last week without giving a reason for his resignation. After the big scandal, everyone agrees that he should step down. Let's listen to how some other people used to step down.
Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer is stepping down.
Ed Howell is stepping down as Vice President and Chief Executive Officer of the Medical Center next month.
As some of you know, John is stepping down after 16 years as president of Stanford.
And during a tough moment of tech means during a difficult time for technology companies. Tech is technology. We can also say techie, he's a techie, and that means he's good at technology, or he works with technology, or he understands technology. You can say, I'm not much of a techie. Are you a techie? Okay, let's look at the first paragraph. Listen to me reading it, and then I will explain to you the meaning of some difficult words, and then we will read it again, and I will pause so that you have a chance to repeat after me. YouTube Chief Executive Susan Wojcicki is stepping down after a long tenure leading the Google-owned online video giant, the company said Thursday. Let's look at the meaning of the word tenure. Tenure is a period of time when someone has an important job. For example, we can say a president has a tenure, a senator has a tenure, a CEO, they have tenures. We can say during his tenure as president of the university, he had a real influence on the students. Or during his tenure at the White House, he advised the president. Let's listen to how some other people used it.
And during my tenure, I experienced a lot of winning.
During her tenure at the University of Florida, she has held multiple positions with various departments.
Okay, let's read the paragraph again and let's practice your pronunciation. I will pause to give you a chance to repeat. Repeat after me. YouTube Chief Executive Susan Wojcicki is stepping down after a long tenure, leading the Google-owned online video giant, the company said Thursday. Let's look at the next paragraph to learn some more vocabulary. YouTube representatives declined to elaborate on what prompted Wojcicki's departure, how long it's been brewing, or what Wojcicki's continued involvement with the company will be. Declined to elaborate simply means refused to discuss it in more detail. To decline means to reject or to refuse, or to say no. And to elaborate means to add more detail concerning what has already been said. So if they decline to elaborate, they didn't want to give any details. We can also use elaborate this way. Could you please elaborate on that subject? We use the preposition on. Elaborate on. Let me elaborate on it. Let's look at the verb to prompt. To prompt someone to do something. That means to make someone decide to do something. The sentence says, YouTube representatives declined to elaborate on what prompted Wojcicki's departure. What prompted her departure? What is the reason she stepped down? Why is she leaving her job? We usually use prompt like this. What prompted him? What prompted her? What prompted her to do that? That means, why did she do that? What prompted you to say that to me? Why did you say that to me? Let's listen to how some other people use the verb to prompt.
And what prompted you to write that column? And what prompted you to write it the way that you wrote it?
Mr. Chairman, what prompted the committee to make the decision at this particular time?
And that's what prompted me to write the book.
Let's look at the expression, to be brewing. You probably know one meaning of to brew. To brew means to make coffee or tea by mixing it with hot water. But to be brewing is an expression, and that means a difficult situation is developing. Something is going on and it's not necessarily good. Something unpleasant is brewing. So we don't know what prompted Wojcicki's departure and how long it's been brewing. So that means we don't know why she's stepping down from her job as CEO, and we don't know how long she had been planning to do it. Let's practice using to be brewing. We can say, I think trouble is brewing. Or you can say, a storm is brewing. It's coming, it will happen soon. Let's listen to how some other people used to be brewing.
But now, another kind of war is brewing.
There's a crisis that is brewing in Asia that could impact our lives, and you need to understand why and what is taking place.
And here in Washington, a different type of storm is brewing between the president and congressional Republicans.
Okay, let's read that paragraph again and let's practice your pronunciation. Listen to me and then repeat. YouTube representatives declined to elaborate on what prompted Wojcicki's departure, how long it's been brewing, or what Wojcicki's continued involvement with the company will be. Let's look at the next paragraph to learn more vocabulary. Wojcicki, one of the tech industry's most prominent female executives, was CEO during YouTube's dramatic transition from an amateur video uploading site to a massive media and advertising powerhouse. Today, YouTube has more than 2 billion monthly users, with 1 billion hours of video watched every day by people around the world, according to the company. Let's make sure you can pronounce amateur correctly. That TU is pronounced like this, ch, amateur, amateur. An amateur is someone who's not a professional, someone who's not very skilled at something, or it's not a serious job for them. Maybe it's just a hobby. And YouTube started as an amateur video uploading site. We can say, he's an amateur photographer. Or an amateur golfer can't compete with the professionals. And sometimes people say something like this, we can't take him seriously, he's just an amateur. He's not professional, he's not that good at his job, he's a beginner, he's an amateur. Let's look at the meaning of powerhouse. A powerhouse is a person or thing with great energy, great strength, or great power. And often it's an organization that's strong and effective, and it's best in the category. We can say that part of the country has become an economic powerhouse, or that city is the country's cultural powerhouse. So YouTube started as an amateur video uploading site, and it became a massive media and advertising powerhouse. Let's listen to how some other people used powerhouse.
The technology powerhouse of Silicon Valley begins north of San Francisco, down to San Jose.
I think coconut milk is the way to go. And plus, coconut is a powerhouse ingredient.
Okay, let's read the paragraph again so that you get a chance to practice your pronunciation. Listen to me and repeat. Wojcicki, one of the tech industry's most prominent female executives, was CEO during YouTube's dramatic transition from an amateur video uploading site to a massive media and advertising powerhouse. Today, YouTube has more than 2 billion monthly users, with 1 billion hours of videos watched every day by people around the world, according to the company. All right, let's look at the next paragraph. In my opinion, this one has the most difficult vocabulary. Let's listen. But Wojcicki's departure also comes at a moment of truth for both Google, which laid off 12,000 people last month, including some at YouTube, and the wider tech ecosystem, which is floundering through a wave of layoffs and cost-cutting measures as it comes down from a pandemic high and navigates a tough macroeconomic landscape. Let's look at the expression, a moment of truth. That means a very important moment, a time when a person or thing is tested and a decision needs to be made or a crisis has to be faced. The moment when your skill is tested or when your courage is tested. Let's listen to how some people used it.
All right, here we go. This is the moment of truth. It is time to fly.
So finally, the moment of truth. We're going to actually taste this chicken. Here we go.
This is the moment of truth. The call to action.
Let's look at the meaning of the verb to flounder. To flounder means to struggle, to be in serious difficulty. And the article said, the tech ecosystem is floundering through a wave of layoffs and cost-cutting measures. A wave of layoffs means many layoffs at the same time. They needed to fire many employees at the same time. There was a wave of layoffs. And let's look at cost-cutting measures. Measures are actions. A measure is a plan or a course of action taken to achieve a particular purpose. So cost-cutting measures are the actions taken by technology companies to save costs, to save money. And we can also use floundering this way. We can say, the economy is floundering, or many businesses are floundering because of the recession. Or we can say, although his business was a success, his marriage was floundering. The sentence says, as it comes down from a pandemic high. To come down from a high means to go from good to bad, to go from very successful and to start coming down and being less successful. During the pandemic, it was good, but it has come down. And let's look at a tough landscape. A tough macroeconomic landscape. And that means a difficult economic situation as a whole. Tough means difficult or challenging. And macroeconomic means the whole economy, not just a specific part of the economy, but the general economic factors. And the landscape is the current situation, the distinctive features of a particular situation. So a tough economic landscape is a difficult economic situation in general, not just at YouTube, not just with technology. Okay, let's read the sentence again. This time you'll be able to understand it better. Let's practice your pronunciation. But Wojcicki's departure also comes at a moment of truth. For both Google, which laid off 12,000 people last month, including some at YouTube, and the wider tech ecosystem, which is floundering through a wave of layoffs and cost-cutting measures as it comes down from a pandemic high and navigates a tough macroeconomic landscape. Let's look at the next paragraph. The paragraph contains the familiar words while and court. But in this paragraph, they have different meanings and you may not be familiar with them. Let's look at the way they're used. And while YouTube remains a leading video platform, it's facing robust competition from digital media companies, including TikTok and Twitch, which court a youthful and enthusiastic online audience and base of creators. You know the meaning of while. It's similar to during, but it can be used in another way. It can also mean although, even though, in spite of the fact that. The sentence says, and while YouTube remains a leading video platform, it's facing robust competition. And that means even though YouTube remains a leading video platform, it has competition. Let's practice using while in other sentences. We can say, while I disagreed with my boss, I decided to follow his orders. Or, while I understand what you're saying, I don't fully agree with you. While it's unfortunate that it happened, it will strengthen him in the long run. Of course, you know the meaning of court. This is a court. It's a court of law, and this is a basketball court. But we can also use court as a verb. In that case, it has a very different meaning. To court someone means to try hard to please someone, especially because you want something from them. To make an effort to get someone's attention. And the sentence says, TikTok and Twitch court a youthful and enthusiastic online audience. And that means TikTok and Twitch are trying to attract young people. Their goal is to make young people interested. We can say, TikTok is courting younger viewers. And we can say, the politician was skilled at courting the media. Let's look at the paragraph again. Listen and repeat. While YouTube remains a leading video platform, it's facing robust competition from digital media companies, including TikTok and Twitch, which court a youthful and enthusiastic online audience and base of creators. And let's read the final paragraph and learn two more expressions. Over the years, I've worn many hats and done so many things, Wojcicki said in her letter. Managed marketing, co-created Google image search, led Google's first video and book search, as well as early parts of AdSense's creation, worked on the YouTube and DoubleClick acquisitions, served as Senior Vice President of Ads, and for the last 9 years, the CEO of YouTube. Let's look at over the years. When we say over and then we give an amount of time, that means during that time, during those years, especially when you want to express that something happened many times during those years. You can say, the cost of housing has increased a lot over the years. Or we can say, his health has declined over the last few months. He's doing much better. His situation has improved over the last few days. We also commonly say, over my lifetime. You can say, the culture has changed a lot over my lifetime. And do you know what the idiomatic expression, to wear many hats, means? It means to have many jobs in the same company, to have many different types of roles and responsibilities in that company. And she said that she has worn many hats over the years. And that means that she's had many different types of jobs at YouTube. Let's listen to how some other people used it.
A scholar who wears many hats spanning history, science, linguistics, archaeology, and geography.
She is a financial expert, an author, a host, a journalist, a mother, a wife, a New Yorker. Yes. She wears many hats.
Yes. She wears many hats. She does a ton of things to make the world a better place.
Let's read the paragraph again. Listen and repeat. Over the years, I've worn many hats and done so many things. Wojcicki said in her letter. Managed marketing, co-created Google image search, led Google's first video and book search, as well as early parts of AdSense creation. Worked on the YouTube and DoubleClick acquisitions. Served as Senior Vice President of Ads. And for the last 9 years, the CEO of YouTube. And now it's time for you to test yourself. Let's see how many of the words you remember. You can also pause after each word so that you can make your own sentence. All right, let's start with the first word. What does to step down mean? How about tenure? To prompt. To be brewing. And how do we pronounce this word? You say it. What does it mean? Let's say it again. Amateur. Powerhouse. A moment of truth. To flounder. A wave of layoffs. Cost-cutting measures. A tough landscape. While. To court. Over the years. To wear many hats. How did you do? How many of the words did you remember? I recommend that you keep reading newspaper articles and always highlight the new words and look them up and then make your own sentence. I also recommend that you purchase my course, The 400 Advanced Words You Must Know for Fluent English. These are words also from the newspaper, and these are the types of words that my students generally didn't understand. Even though my students were quite advanced and quite fluent in English, I think the course will benefit you as well. And it comes with 7 hours of video, and the whole course is downloadable in audio form. Plus, there are tests along the way to test your progress. Thanks for watching, and keep practicing your English. To get the 2 courses, the American Accent course and the 400 Advanced Words You Must Know for Fluent English, go to AccurateEnglish.com.